Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are doing now. As of this current moment, you are looking at a picture of an individual that goes by the name Tim Kennedy, and he's having a conversation with Joe Rogan in regards to people not trying to have a 9 to 5 job, and he is given advice, which I believe is horrid. Now, of course, this is his own opinion. And because this is an economic channel, it's really important that I give the fair critiques and criticisms that you should understand so that you can have more success and have a more holistic approach instead of just taking sound bites and accepting them at face value. So let's begin and let's, watch this conversation.
They want us to be weaker.
They want us to be weaker. They
And
want us to be fatter. They want us to be more mentally unwell.
yeah, but I don't think people realize that that's what it is. I think when people are trying to be a TikTok influencer, what are they saying? Well, they're saying, well, I don't want to work in a fucking insurance company. Like, what other job can I? Oh, can I just like make wild, wacky videos of me eating, and I can make more money than I would ever if I got a college degree? Like, yeah, you can.
Yeah, you want to be the richest person on the planet right now in Austin? Be in construction. Be an electrician. Be a plumber. Do you know how much those people are charging right now here?
Yeah. Well, this is a boom town.
They're worth like $200,000 average income of a good electrician here in Austin right now.
Okay. So this guy is talking about how if you want to be extremely rich, the best thing you can do is become an electrician, a plumber, construction worker, etc. Right? And it's hard to book them, and that they're making $200,000 as of this current moment. Okay. Now, let's get something straight. Number one, people in the 1% don't even make $200,000. They make way more than that. So you're not even in the 1% if you're making that kind of money. Okay. Number two, okay, there's fluctuations in the market. So even if you got a bunch of electricians, even if you got a bunch of plumbers, etc., well, the supply is overly saturated. So there's a decline in activity that's going on if you have a bunch of electricians, plumbers, construction workers, etc. Now, let's continue on.
Now, you go to 2 years of trade school to become an electrician, right? You spend a year and a half to as an apprentice. And then you go and you start working for a couple of years for a guy that owns a shop. You go and start your own. Your electrician business is going to be worth $10 million in 3 years here in Austin. But it takes a little bit of work. I'll give that to you. But you're not going to do the work to be worth $10 million in 3-4 years from now to do something that, like, that's another wild thing is, like, some of these jobs have been demonized. It's like,
Right.
it's not cool to be a plumber. It's not cool to be an electrician. It's not cool to be a roofer. But I'll tell you what, it's pretty cool to have a badass truck and be able to go hunt whenever you want, be able to hang out with your kids and make it every single weekend to their lacrosse or hockey games because you have successful businesses and you just did a little bit of work for a few years to build that thing.
It's very bizarre that we've somehow or another demonized blue collar work and put white collar work on a pedestal. Whereas, like, the freedom comes from owning your own business.
Yeah.
That's real freedom.
Sovereignty.
Yeah,
That's
real
right.
personal.
Okay. So let's look at a couple of things here, right? Because I thought some of these were crazy. And I'm sure if you were to ask Tim Kennedy, he'll just say he's being hyperbolic. So he says, okay, you could put in about 2 years of work. Okay. You go become an apprentice at some other person's shop. Once you leave, you get 10 mil in 3 years. We demonize jobs, and when he means demonize jobs, he's really saying we demonize blue collar work, and the goal is, and this is what he said. Okay, the goal is be your own business person, right? Be your own business person. That is the goal. Now, let me explain something to you. Okay, Trade school is really 2 to 4 years. Number one, okay, it's not just 2 years, like you go to community college, etc. It's 2 to 4 years. Two, not many shops are hiring because, funny enough, as I said, it's about marketplace dynamics. Micro, dirty jobs, guess what? It was influential. And now that's influential, guess what you got to do? You got to compete. Let me repeat this again. You're going to compete. Do you know why most people are failing today? Ironically, it's not because they don't work hard. It's because they don't know how to do what? They don't know how to compete. So you come in, you accept his advice. You say, okay, I'm not going to go to a 4 year college university. I'm going to take these 2 4 year, apprenticeships, etc. Well, here's the problem. Those are all filled up. So just like it was hard in college university, it's going to be hard in trade school that you can't even get into. In fact, it's harder to get into trade school many a times than it is to get into college or university. Then he makes that most outlandish claim. He's like, hey, if you do these 2 4 years, which is really what trade school is, you start your own business, and in 3 years you're gonna make $10 billion. I know Tim Kennedy does not believe that. No, you will not do something like that. I'm telling you this right now. You're not going to make $10 million in 3 years by doing something like that. You're just not. Okay. Maybe you're that extreme rare person that could make that happen, but more often than not, you're probably doing something else. I heard there was a lawyer, I forgot his name. He built $100 million business within a year and a half. Okay. And he was a lawyer. Now, once again, it may happen, but more often than not, it's going to be impossible, which comes back down to the next point. We demonize blue collar work. Let me explain something to you. Okay. Anything you get into, I don't care if it's blue collar, pink collar, white collar, gray collar, whatever collar you want to wear and talk about, there are pros and cons associated with the work you engage in. So there are people who work in factories, in the mines, who are going to become physically disabled because of the work they engage in. Okay? So because they get into that type of work, they become, hurt. And once they get hurt, they also don't want their family to get hurt. So you know what they tell their family? Hey, don't get into my profession. Do something else. Okay? Do something else. Because truth of the matter, blue collar is really hazardous on your body depending on what you do. All right? Another thing in regards to blue collar, I want people to understand something. Just because you're blue collar does not mean you're a blue collar business person. It most often than not means you're a blue collar worker. So, being a plumber, being an electrician, etc. They always talk about the trade aspect, being a professional at a higher level when they talk about blue collar work. They don't talk about the employee aspect of being a blue collar work. Okay, like being a mechanic at a mechanic shop that you don't own. They don't talk about being a coal miner in a coal industry you don't own, or a business you don't own, etc. Which goes back down to my last point, being a business person. Let me explain something to you. And I want people to get this drilled into their head as much as possible. And especially you, the viewer, who's watching this video right now. All business people, by definition, are white collar individuals. Why? Because you sit down to crunch numbers and you engage in, at most, pink collar work, which is service, by doing sales, marketing, networking, etc. You don't have to be hands-on on anything. Okay. So this whole concept of, well, there's a blue collar business, really, you're just a business person in some particular idea of what's surrounding blue collar. There are people who own plumbing businesses as well as electrical businesses, and they don't have a plumbing or electrician's license. In fact, private equity is now getting into this game on where they're trying to, get money out of what? Roofers, plumbing, being a boiler maker, all that stuff. Why? Because at the end of the day, the highest level business person is just going to do what? Be in industry. They're not just going to be small scale. That's just the fact of the matter. So this, social media influence, etc., they make a lot of money. In fact, they can make so money on the front end, they don't even have to worry about the back end. They can just make, good investments and they're done. All right. So let's keep watching this video.
Personal sovereignty, not having to report to some asshole that doesn't give a fuck about you and might fire you as soon as the company takes a downward turn. Oh, you've worked at that company for 25 years? Sorry. Here's a month's severance pay. Kick rocks.
Yeah.
And that happens to people over and over again.
All the time.
And they get so disillusioned and so disenfranchised and depressed. And so then the doctor puts them on medication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they start eating crap food, and then they stop sleeping, and then they stop.
Okay, so they start eating crap food. They're not sleeping well. Okay, well, this happens in blue collar work as well. Okay. In fact, one of the most unhealthiest people, typically speaking, are in blue collar work. Which, as I said before, isn't just merely business. It's also, you being an employee. But, let's just continue on.
Being intimate with their partner.
Woe is me.
Yep. And
yeah.
And that has been the cycle for the past 30 years. Well, we can break that cycle, right? You get up early, you go and work out. But man, I got a 9 to 5 and I have to leave at 8 to commute. Got it. Wake up at 6.
Yeah.
You get an hour to work out. You get a great breakfast from the chickens. Then you just walk out and you pick up like these fantastic 10 grams of protein, micronutrient rich things, and you put them in a pan with some just butter. Don't use anything else. Stay away from them seed oils. Then you come home from work. You got a 30-minute commute through traffic. That sucks. Go to jiu-jitsu. Come back and have dinner with your family. Put the biggest smile on your wife's face after you guys pass out in bed. Dude, repeat for a couple of years. Start your own business.
Yeah. People need to hear that, and they don't hear it anywhere.
Okay, so once again, he's telling you, okay, you got a 9 to 5. I got an hour commute. Okay, wake up at 6 and start doing what you got to do. All right. Then you come home. You're not stressed at all after work. There's no decompression time. You're going to come straight home and you're going to have a wife that you got to take care of, etc. Okay. And how are you going to do all this? Oh, you're going to do all of this by being a blue collar working man. Okay. You're just going to go ahead and get a trade. As they say, you're going to become a plumber. And then after 2-4 years working under somebody, you're going to, in 3 years after you start your business, make $10 million. Like, here's the truth of the matter. Okay. Here's one thing I will agree with Tim Kennedy, because, this is an economic channel. And as I said, there's always pros and cons of everything. But you need to become your own business person. Man, woman, boy, or girl. Because if you want to be at the highest level, economically empowered, you're more often than not going to have to become a business person. Because we're not living in the era of hard work. We're living in the era of competition. Will it require hard work? Yes. But as I said before, slaves work hard. Okay? Slaves work hard. Kings work hard. The difference between those two positions is because of competition. Okay? And depending on how you win that competition or how you lose in competition is going to be decided how you're going to make up in life. That's how it is. Now, Tim Kennedy, he has a motive. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy is being pushed And I'm not saying it's a negative thing because, if you want to make some money, get your money, right? But there's this blatant push to get people away from, the colleges, universities, to go ahead and go into, the more technical trades, etc. But guess what? A, they know most people won't get into the technical trades. B, they want to oversupply the market so that they could lower their chances of, paying for that type of work. And C, they could have the advantage. Mike Rowe, the dude who's telling you to do dirty jobs, guess what his degree is in? Communications. Very interesting, don't you think so? So that's all I got to say in regards to this matter. Watch the video yourself. I'm sure I gave a fair critique. I think at the end of the day, you need to take whatever you say, or not what you say, but what anyone says with a grain of salt at times, and make sure that you are being economically empowered. That's all I got to say. Peace out. Bye.